Welcome to the update. I'm Michelle Stevenson. The Prime Minister is describing the northern New South Wales floods as a 1 in 500-year event while unveiling the next phase of financial assistance. Tens of millions of dollars will now be funneled into legal, business, mental as well as primary health support services. Now that's on top of almost $400 million in initial Commonwealth disaster payments. But he has stopped short of apologising. That's after flood-affected locals expressed their frustration at the time it's taken to get the help.
I don't think any amount of support was ever going to be enough, and so every federal government would always be apologetic and would always apologise that you're never going to be able to provide enough support in these situations.
Meantime, Sydney's floods have claimed another life. A man's body has been found in floodwaters in City's west. That's after a search was sparked by the discovery of his abandoned truck. Now, there are warnings to protect yourself from mosquitos. That's as Japanese encephalitis spreads throughout other states. A man in his 70s has now died in New South Wales. Now, that's after another man lost his life in Victoria. There are also confirmed cases in South Australia as well as Queensland. WA will enter very high caseload settings from tomorrow, triggering a change in isolation rules for certain close contacts of COVID. Now, critical workers from a range of sectors will no longer need to isolate for 7 days. That's as long as they return a negative rapid test and have no symptoms. The opposition leader may consider a temporary cut in petrol taxes. That is if they are successful at the federal election. It says the cost of fuel soars above $2 a litre, with the government pretty adamant that they won't be reducing the tax as they need it to fix the roads. Anthony Albanese, though, says he'll think about it if the budget can afford it.
You don't just make, as the leader, calls which have a significant impact going through. Issues are thought through, they're properly costed, the detail is out there.
And Shane Warne's body is arriving in Australia. His family will hold a private funeral. That's before a public memorial at the MCG on March 30. Taking a look at sport, and the majority of AFL captains expect that Brisbane and the reigning premiers Melbourne to play in the 2022 Grand Final. Now, that's the result of the annual pre-season survey. And Novak Djokovic is being included in the draw for the Indian Wells Tennis Masters, but he still hasn't received approval to enter the US. And now for more in-depth sport analysis, just head over to the Sport Update. In your entertainment news, and Travis Scott has finally spoken out on that Astroworld tragedy which left 10 people dead. Now, the rapper is vowing to always honour the victims while also introducing real change to his community. Rebel Wilson has opened up about her biggest fear ahead of her hosting duties at the upcoming British Academy Film Awards, also known as the BAFTAs. The Aussie actress is worried that she might say something that gets her cancelled. And Chris Hemsworth has turned into real-life hero, the Aussie actor funding private helicopter trips to drop supplies to flood-ravaged regions of Australia. And that's the latest from the Nova Entertainment Podcast News team. We'll see you tomorrow morning for another episode of The Update. I'm Michelle Stevenson.